So today the topic which we are going to start is share valuation. First of all, let us understand what is the need for share valuation. Why do we have to do share valuation, right? So the fundamental analysis is based upon the premise that each share has an intrinsic worth or value which depends upon the benefits that the holder of a share expects to receive in future from the share in the form of dividends and capital appreciation. This means that every share has two things. First is we get two things when we buy a share. Yeah, basically, we get income in the form of two things when we buy a share. First is the dividend, and second is the capital appreciation. Right. So these are the two things we get when we buy a share, dividend and capital appreciation. So for example, if a share is giving you a particular amount of dividend, for example, the share is giving you rupees 5 dividend for 5 years, and at the end of 5 years the share can be sold at rupees 50, say for example. So these are the two things I'm going to get. I'm going to get 5 rupees for 5 years. So to basically I will be getting 25 rupees of dividend and 50 rupees at the end of 5 years. So in total I will get 75 rupees from this share in 5 years, right? So if I'm going to receive 75 rupees over the period of 5 years, this 75 rupees I'm not going to receive at once. I'm going to receive the 75 rupees in 5 years, right? So how much should I pay to get 75 rupees in 5 years over the period of 5 years, right? So how much should I pay for it? How much should I pay for okay, so how much should I pay for getting rupees 75 over a period of 5 years? So how much should I pay? It is called the intrinsic value of the share. So there are two values of the share. The first one is intrinsic value and the second one is market value. Yeah. Second one is market value. So intrinsic value is basically the true worth of the share. True worth of the share. And this intrinsic value, the true worth of the share, we obtain by using time value of the money. Because the worth of the money will change over a period of time. These 5 rupees of dividend we are not receiving at once. We are receiving this dividend over a period of time, right? So that's why we use time value of money's concept here. Time value of money. So intrinsic value is the true worth of the share and market value is the market price of the share. Market price of the share. So to calculate, to see whether we should buy this share or not, whether we should invest this share or not, what we do is we compare intrinsic value and market value, right? We will compare these two values. So if intrinsic value, if intrinsic value is greater than market value, if intrinsic value is greater than market value, which means, for example, the true worth of the share is rupees 50, but in market it is available at rupees 35. It means the share is undervalued in the market. The true worth of the share is more, but in market it is available at cheaper prices, right? So undervalued means it is available in the market. It is available in the market it is available in the market at cheaper prices. So what we should do, what should be our strategy here? We should buy this share. Okay, we will buy this share. On the other hand, if the intrinsic value of the share is more than the market value, if the intrinsic value, if the intrinsic value intrinsic value is less than, earlier it was more than, now it is less than, if intrinsic value of the share is less than market value. So here, for example, the true worth of the share is rupees 50, but in market it is available at rupees 60. It means its true worth is not that much. Its true worth is only rupees 50, but it is available in the market at higher prices. So this share is overpriced, right? So this share is overpriced, and what we have to do, if any share is overpriced and we are holding it right now, so what we should do, we should sell it. So it is available at a higher price, so one should sell such share, sell the share. So this should be our criteria. So I hope these points are clear with all of us, that first, when we do share valuation in shares, we have we have income in two forms, first in the form of dividend and second in the form of capital appreciation. And of course, dividend we receive over a period of time, and capital appreciation we get at the end of the time. For example, in share there is no maturity value. Like in bond we used to have a maturity time period. In shares we do not have any maturity value. It's just, for example, I am holding a share for 5 years. So 5 years is my maturity value. And after, at the end of 5 years, I will sell it out in the market, whatever market price is available, right? So we get income in two forms, dividend and capital appreciation. Dividend we get every year, and capital appreciation we get at the end of the holding period. So we do not call it maturity period, we call it holding period. So of course, when we calculate dividend, we want to calculate present value of dividend. The table which we use here is PVAF, right? So here, to calculate the present value of the dividend, present value of the dividend, we use PVAF table, annuity table basically. PVAF table, and for the selling price, like at the end of the holding period, the price at which you want to sell the stock, we find its present value through PVF table, present value factor table, interest factor. You can call it PVIF or PVF, one and same thing. So for selling price at the end of holding period, we use PVIF table. So one thing important is there, to to do share valuation, we have to use time value of money, because we want to calculate that if I want to receive, for example, this 75 rupees, how much should I pay today? What should be the value which I must pay today? It means basically we don't want to buy any overpriced share. If its true worth is less than the market price, we will not buy it. So the a sense of share valuation is to buy the share at right price. You should not buy any costly shares. Maybe because in market, due to demand and supply forces, many a times the share is overvalued. And by this calculation, we try to understand that whether we should buy the share or not. We should buy it, we should sell it, we should hold it. Basically you try to understand what strategy you must use. So, share valuation, the concept of share valuation is not only to calculate the value of the share, but to define your strategy. What strategy you have to use? Either you buy, you sell, or you hold. We have three strategies: buy, sell, and hold. So, by finding the true worth of the share, we try to understand what strategy we must use, right? So, let's move forward. Let's take an example now. So the first example I'm going to take is 1 year holding period. In case of 1 year holding period, how do we calculate the intrinsic value of the share? When we talk about the true worth of the share, it simply means that we are talking about intrinsic value of the share. So to start with it, for example, the true worth of the share is S naught. S naught equals to, now we are going to receive income in two forms. First is dividend D1, because this is 1 year holding period. I am going to sell this share at the end of first year. So that's why here the dividend, that's why we are calling it 1 year holding period, because we have a predetermined goal in our mind that I am going to hold this share for only 1 year, and at the end of 1 year I'm going to sell it off. That's why we are calling it 1 year holding period. So here D1 is the dividend I'm going to receive in this year, 1 year holding period. So D1 into, as I told you, that to calculate dividend, we always use PVAF table, right? Although here we are going to receive, a dividend only for a year, but still, as a matter of fact, I'll use PVAF, because in dividend we use only PVAF table. So PVAF R, comma N. R is the interest rate. Interest rate here is basically the expected rate of return. What do you, or expected, or you can call it required rate of return. How much return you expect? For example, you are buying a security today and you have a plan to sell it off at the end of 1 year. So what is your required rate of return? How much return you want from it? So accordingly, we'll see how much we should pay today. So D1, the dividend we have received in this year, into its present value. We always have to calculate its present value. So D1 into its present value. R is obviously the required rate of return, the return which you want. It has nothing to do with the company's return or anything else. It is you can change it at any point of time. If you want a better rate of return, you can increase it. So it is completely your understanding how much return you want. So D1 into PVAF Rn, n is time period. So here holding period is 1 year. So n would be 1 plus, now plus the here I will write S1. So here S1 is basically the selling price at the end of 1 year. So S1 into now for the selling price we use PVIF table, present value in interest factor table, again R and N. So I'll just write what these all values mean. So S naught we can write as the intrinsic value of the share, intrinsic value of the share. Then D1 is the dividend, dividend received from the share. Then R is required rate of return, required rate of return of the shareholder. So how much return shareholder wants from this particular security, R. Then N is holding period, how long you want to hold the share. Then we have S1. S1 is the selling price at the end of holding period, right? So these are the values we have to use. Now let's take an example. So for example, an investor expects to get a dividend of rupees 3.50 as dividend from a share next year. Right, and hopes to sell. Obviously, he is expecting to sell. He doesn't know, the investor doesn't know that at the end of 1 year he would be able to share it or not. But obviously, he had certain calculations in mind that at the end of 1 year he would be able to sell the share at a certain price. So, everything is expectation. Whenever we do share valuation, bond valuation, or anything in the stock market, everything is expected, nothing is sure, right? And hopes to sell it off at rupees 45 at the end of 1 year of holding period, right? His required rate of return, his required rate of return is 25%. So he is expecting that he is going to get a return of 25% here. So now what do we have to do? We have to calculate the true worth of the share. Calculate the true worth of the share, or we can call it intrinsic value. Intrinsic value of the share. This is what we have to calculate, right? So now we will apply the same formula, this formula, to calculate its true worth or intrinsic value. So here the dividend which is expected from the share is 3.50. PVAF table we'll see. Rate of return is 25% and N is 1 year. Then he's expecting to sell it off at rupees 45. PVIF table we'll see now. Here R is 25 and time is again 1 year. Now we'll see the values from the table. So here S naught equals to 3.50 into now when we'll see PVAF at 25% in 1 year, the value is 0.8 plus 45 into again PVIF 25.1. So PVIF, I'll just check what is the value. Okay, so the value is 0.9975. 0.9975. Now I will just solve it. Three 3.50 into 0.8. 3.5 into 0.8. It is 2.8 plus 45 into 0.9975. This is 44.88. Okay, just give me a second. I'll just cross check the value. Okay, so I'm so sorry. I just saw the wrong value. I saw the present value annuity factor. So this is 0.8, not this. So this is 0.8 again. Yeah. So here we got the value 45 into again 0.8. This is 36. So this is 36. So the true worth of the share is 36 plus 2.8. This is 38.8. 38.8. So what does this mean? That if I want to, buy a share which is going to give me a dividend of 3.50 in 1 year, and at the end of 1 year I'm going to sell it off at rupees 45, and my required rate is 25%. I must earn at least 25%. So today I should buy this share at 38.8. Then only my required rate of return would be 25%. If I'll buy it at rupees 40, then this return would not be 25%. It would be more than that. So, right, so I'll just write it down here. So if I buy a share, if I buy a share which is giving me a return of 3.50 as dividend and 45 rupees 45 rupees 45 as selling price, and I want a return of 25%. Then I must buy it today at rupees 38.8, right? So if you buy it at rupees, say for example 40, then your required rate of return would decrease. So it will not be 25%, it would decrease, right? So this is the simplest model of share valuation, like the basic foundation of share valuation, like how do we use time value of money to do share valuation and what is the need of share valuation. We'll continue with the more models in next class.